Hello and welcome to Outsourcery's What's New in CRM 2011, episode 4. Today we're going to be looking at charts. Not only charts within the dashboard, but charts that individual users can create themselves. What you can see at the moment is the online version of CRM 2011, and we're in the workplace area of dashboards. Now, as I mentioned earlier, when we use the word charts, people automatically think dashboards, but users can create their own individual charts, and that's what we're going to go ahead and do right now. Now, chart objects are fantastic for visualizing data. Rather than having to look at lists of records, as you can do in CRM 2011, now you can produce your own pie charts, line graphs, and bar charts, and so on and so forth. Okay, so we're going to create first of all a chart that users can create individually. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pick on accounts, and I'm going to go to the charts tab. Now before we even get started, I'm just going to point to the chart pane, and if I click on the drop down, you can basically choose whether you want your chart to appear on the right hand side of this screen or at the top of this screen. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pick at the right of the screen, and when I do, you'll see that suddenly a chart would appear in the right hand side. Now what I'm going to do is just click on this drop down, account by industry, and what it will do is give me a list of system charts. Now system charts are exactly like system views. They are just basically charts that are created when your CRM system is created. And what you can see here, we have accounts by industry, accounts by owner, accounts by territories, and new accounts by month. But what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and create a new chart, and what I'm going to do is create a new chart based on cities. So I'm just going to go ahead here and click on new, and first thing, as always, the system wants to know the name of this particular chart, and as always, try and be as descriptive as possible. So what I'm going to do is call this chart accounts by city, and what we also need to do is enter the legend entries. So I'm just going to go ahead and select city, and also the access labels, which would also be city as well. And you can see the moment I select those two options, our chart is already starting to appear. We have something here called advanced options, and if I was to give a click on the advanced options, we can actually tell the system that no, we don't want all of the accounts by cities. Maybe we only want the top 8 or the bottom 3, and the system can do that as well for us. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the top X items, and I'm going to go ahead and say I want the top 50, and you can see what the system's automatically done. It's going to rearrange the chart to only give me the top 50 items. Now I could simply leave it on a bar chart as it is now. If I prefer, I could have changed to a pie, a line, or a horizontal bar. I think what we're going to do for this example is we're just going to go ahead and leave it on the horizontal bar, and just going to go ahead and save and close. And now what you can see is we have a chart which we've literally created in a matter of seconds for accounts by city. As I mentioned before, great visualization, because now instead of having to look at a list of records and maybe even counting how many we have, we can just go in and take a look at this chart straight away and get that information. If I was to click on the drop down, you'll now see that instead of just having system charts and our list of system charts, we also got a new heading which is my charts. You can have as many charts as you like in this list, and it's just a case of clicking on the drop down and selecting whichever chart you visually want to see. If you do not want to see any charts, you can click on the arrow here and hide your charts from view. Okay, and it's literally just as simple as that. If you are a little more technically gifted with these charts, what you can also do is export them into an Excel format and play around with them. Do quite a bit more than what you can do within CRM 2011. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and jump over to our dashboards. We've created charts individually for CRM users. Now we're going to go ahead and create a dashboard. Before I create a new dashboard, I'm just going to click on this drop down, and we're noticing a pattern forming here. We've got system dashboards, exactly the same as system charts. Basically, the system automatically creates its own dashboards that you can use. You can go through the various dashboards that we have in here. That one doesn't have any data at the moment, but the System Dynamics CRM Overview does. And exactly the same as the charts earlier, what we're going to do is going to go ahead and create a new dashboard. Now the first thing the system asks is, what layout do you want for your dashboard? You can choose from the 6 different layouts that we have here. I'm just going to go ahead and click on the 4-column overview dashboard and go ahead and click create. Now Microsoft tried to make this as simple as possible, and they really have done a cracking job, because the first thing the system will do is ask you for the name of this dashboard. So let's just call this Contacts Overview Dashboard. And once we've put in the name, I'm just going to go ahead and click on save, and what we can now do is create our actual charts. You're not only limited to charts within a dashboard, you can actually use iframes as well, and also web resources. And what I mean by web resources is you can pull data in from the web and actually put that into a dashboard. By me clicking on the first window pane there, you can see we've actually highlighted that pane. Now I could increase the width, decrease the width, increase the height, or decrease the height. So even though we picked a layout for our actual dashboard, you can change the layout somewhat when you actually creating the dashboard. For this first pane, I'm just going to go ahead and click on a chart. So in other words, I'm telling the system that I want to put a chart in this first dashboard pane. The record type, I'm going to go ahead and select contacts. Now what's very clever is what the chart does is it would use one of your existing views. So you'll notice when I selected contact, the next thing that the system did was activated the view menu, and if I click on the drop down, I could actually select one of my system views or one of my own personal views. Now I actually have a view here which is contacts with postcode beginning with LS1. So I'm going to go ahead and select that particular view. If I did and there was a chart readily available, what the system would allow me to do is bring that chart into this particular dashboard. Because there isn't a chart available, I'm going to go ahead and flip over to accounts, and from accounts I'm going to select accounts in the UK. Now bearing in mind what we've done is we just created some charts earlier, and this was pretty much a Blue Peter job where I created one of these charts previous to the episode. And you'll notice when I selected accounts in the UK, the system allows me to now select a particular chart. So what does this mean? It means that when you're creating a chart for a dashboard, what you're actually doing is using existing charts. This is brilliant because it means you don't have to repeat yourself. So it means if you have your own individual charts that you have created already, you can simply bring them into a dashboard. The whole point of a dashboard is to get an overview of information. So what Microsoft has devised is why would you want to be able have the ability, well, why would you want to create these charts twice when you can simply use existing charts? So I'm going to go ahead and click OK. And there you can see we have our accounts by city. I should actually go ahead and change that name. It's a bit cheeky of me to call it contacts when we're actually going to be using the accounts charts. So there is my first chart. If I wanted to, I can go ahead and create another chart, which is exactly what I'm going to do. Well, I say create another chart, but import another chart. So I'm going to go ahead and click on charts again. In my accounts section, I'm going to go to active accounts, and this time I'm going to stick with accounts by industry and go ahead and click OK. And there you can see we have another chart in there. This time, instead of using a chart for the dashboard, I'm going to go ahead and use a list instead, and inserting a list exactly like inserting a dashboard. And by me clicking on insert list, the system wants to know what view would I like to put into this particular dashboard. I'm going to go ahead and say all of my Manchester accounts. So that's what I'm going to do. I've selected accounts, selected my Manchester accounts view, and I'm going to go ahead and click OK. Next, I'm going to go ahead and select an iframe. Now, in terms of creating your own individual iframes, I would really recommend leaving the sysadmin to do this, simply because creating iframes, you'll need a little bit of a technical background. So what I'm going to do is I would just create a simple Google background web resource there, and I'm going to go ahead and put that in that particular iframe. And you can see how powerful this dashboard could be, because literally you can put views, you can put charts, you can put web resources, i.e. images or pretty much sections of a web page, or even iframes into this dashboard. Not going to finish off this dashboard. I'm going to go ahead and click on save and close, and you can see what the system has done is it's pulled that dashboard, my accounts overview dashboard, into the dashboard section of 2011. If I click on the drop down, you can see that we now have a view called My Dashboards, and we have our accounts overview dashboard. What I can also do is I can set this dashboard as default by clicking on the set as default. So what it now means is that if I was to click away into contacts and then click back over into dashboards, it would bring up my default view. Okay, well, that's the end of this video. Thank you very much for participating and taking a look at this information. Just a quick overview. With charts, fantastic visualization. You'll be able to create your own individual charts within the different entities, and you can insert those charts into a dashboard. You can insert views into dashboards, web resources, and iframes. If you have any other questions, please don't hesitate to contact Outsourcery support desk either via email or phone call. Thank you.